Okay, welcome back to the next part of the tr6 seat rebuild. So, stripped all the stuff off it, gave it a quick run around and painted it. Didn't go too much into it. Like I said, if I was really restoring it, I would have sandblasted the entire thing and painted it better. But it's good enough, it looks clean, paint's on. So, what we're going to do. So, what we're going to start with is, first of all, I'm actually going to put the diaphragm on first, the seat diaphragm, because I just want something so I can lean against it if I need it. And then we're going to move on to here. So, diaphragm, we sell them here at Plan 6 Parts. If you wonder what way to go on, smooth to smooth, so obviously the top smooth end, you can see it's lumpy to hold all the ribs and all over the bottom, smooth at the top. I've always put the long end sitting outwards, so the long end pointed out compared to the short end. Could you get away with doing the other way? I suppose you could. I've never done it that way, but I don't see a reason why you couldn't get away with it. Anyway, so which way do you start this? Put it yourself. I've always done it this way. Yes, I've always put the 2 and 2 on, then I start with the 3 either side. So it's stiff already. It's cold though, so it's not as flexible. Right. Now, so the two sides, the front and back is on. And I said what I'll do is, I'll start off with the middle one. So that's not in there. I always pull the middle one first because then it pulls most of it in and makes it a little easier to pull. Because if you start with one end, you'll find that it twists and this is further away and it's a lot more strength to get it in. That's one side, and then this side. So they always start with the middle. And that makes it a little easier to get the button to on. Oops. Torn it, so I can make it easier for me to pull it. Alright, diaphragm on. I'll just use like a channel lock to pull it. Alright, now we have that on. What we're going to move on, we're going to move on to up here because we're going to do the bottom half first, but I want to get the stuff on up here. So, as I was saying in the previous one with the tool, here it is here. It's one of these tools. It uses these clips, and you just go in, you squeeze together. So. Normally I put the stuff on and clamp them together. I'm just going to put 1 or 2 on it first just to line them up first. So, tool goes in. It's a little ring. It's like putting a ring on. You can buy these off like Amazon or Princess Auto. So this is a Princess Auto job because it's this power fist. So, it's a little tool. I'm going to make sure that these are together, so Because if I put the stuff on first, I mightn't see it. I just want to make sure they're actually lined up together. So I took them all off when I coated it, or when I cleaned it. Alright, that should be it. I mean, this is only wire, so it's not exactly tough material. So the whole idea is that they're just bound together, so when you put the stuff on it, they're all held together. So what we're going to put on it, like I said, there's the stuff here for the trees that you wrap the tree with. So I have a big roll of it, and all I do is spray it, fold it in half, and then I cut it just enough to do pretty much do one side. So what I'm going to do is, it doesn't have to be right into the corner, because the whole idea of this is that the foam actually has something to stick to. So the more stretch you have to it, the flatter it is, the more the foam can stick to it. So I'll start at one end. Probably go this way because it's smoother ends up top. And I'm going to go onto the inside channel. I'm going to start literally from the corner. You don't need the greatest amount of these, but just enough to hold on. So. So when you put it on, just be mindful. The in here has a ribbed line. Any of the ones that stick out is where the actual strap goes across. They're on the ones that are the closest ones, not the furthest ones. Stop them moving around. So just don't put them there, otherwise you'll compromise the strap when it goes to go on. There's no right or wrong place to put these as long as you get it on. And then once we have it on, it turns around, we'll glue it to the back. This stuff here you can get in, I forget where I got this. I don't know if it was Fabric Land. I don't know if I got that in here. I don't know. But you can get it in a hardware store. So what I'll do is when I have this one done, just want to make sure she's stretched pretty good. So the smoother you have it here. Like I said, once it's glued, we're going to glue it around the back anyway. But I want to make sure it's clipped on everywhere, so when I do pull it, I get as much smoothness as I can. And I'll always put ones in the middle just to make sure they hold themselves as well. Alright, should be enough. So, flip it around. Just be careful when you flip it around, you don't want to flip it onto the spring. So at the back here, what we do have on the cover, so before we tighten this up, what I'm going to do is This you get in the packet with the foam kit. It's basically insulation for a copper pipe. That's all it really is. It's a big one, so you get way too much of it. This goes along here. So it basically saddles here all the way around. However, you can't get it to fit because the way it's shaped, it sits back too far. So what I normally do is I take a little notch out first. I'm going to change this blade. I think I did there. Duller has glue in it. Oh, you know, I took the notch out the wrong side. I'll keep that for the other end. Take a little notch out of it, as you see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit it down here. Let me show you. Sorry, I have to move the camera so you can see. So on the back of the headrest here, I'm going to have it that sits in this groove, this little channel. I'm going to measure around first of the cut it. So around, stop it about here. So this is where the headrest comes up, so it sits at the back here. I know it's hard to see with the darkness, but what I'll do is when I spray it, I shall show you. So, do you have to put this on first? You don't necessarily have to. I've done it the other way around. I've often put this on first and then this over it. But I've tried it a few different ways and I find this way probably the better way, only because this stuff is shaped for a pipe. It sticks better to the metal than it does with that, because then this stuff doesn't make it as round. Makes only half. So I'm waiting for the glue to set. And all this is protecting it, so when it comes around the back, it gives it that flush finish. Now, me personally, I find that these kits you get with the foam, I feel like they don't give you enough foam. I feel like it can be more, you can make it more, and that's what I do. This is not my seat, but when I do mine, I add extra foam in to actually make it more fluffy, plush. That's what I do personally. But again, it's a choice. Just want to make sure she's stuck on there. So once that's done, what we can do is we can overlap this and bring it across. Now, does it reach all the way? It might not reach all the way. So I'll get a bit of glue in this one, just a small bit, just enough to hold it. Or I'll pull at least one end of it. I'll get it to here. So I'm going to do this end first. Again, what glue do I use? I use this. Sorry, couldn't you see it? Hopefully you can see it. I use the 3M stuff, it's pretty good. Again, you don't need a lot of it. For some reason this is really spraying. I have to change those nozzles. For some reason it's absolutely flying out of it. Now some of the sprays, some of the glues you get, you'll find it that's better. The nozzle was broken. You'll find some of them you have to let set, so read it first before you do anything to it. Personally, I find that 3M one the best. I think it sticks pretty good. I probably underdone it here. I probably could have made it a little bigger here, but as long as it's stuck, it's going to pull itself in eventually anyway. It's not the cleanest here, but just to hold it. Once you put the foam on, it won't make much of a difference because the foam comes across and pulls. But yeah, I underdone myself a little bit there. So. Just going to trim off the excess. To be honest, blades are terrible for that. Scissors work so much better. Starting to pop off a bit. Reglue it. This is where you have to have some patience. You have to physically hold it and wait for it to stick. Now, most likely what it'll do is you'll end up with sticky fingers. It's inevitable. You're going to end up with the sticky fingers. So, as I said before on my other videos, the best way to get rid of that is some brake cleaner. Just spray your fingers with some brake cleaner and get a rag and you'll be good to go. Just remember though, don't spray it over this, because if you put brake cleaner on this, the glue won't stick to it. So, again, you don't need a lot of glue, because remember, the vinyl at the end comes around and wraps in and pulls, and that's what does all the work, really. That's really what does the work. Tidy it up a bit. Alright. So that's one side done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, to save you the trouble, I'm going to fast forward, and as I go do the other side. I do want to get one clip in here. Sorry, the worst thing about these clips is they come in a big you come in a roll like this, and you'll find there's tape either side. So if you do get them, try to get a roll of tape off one side. It makes it easier to take apart. Otherwise, it's a bit frustrating. So I want to put a clip down here just to. That's better. All right. So still waiting for this to stick down. So there's one side done. So now I normally don't edit stuff, but I don't think you want to watch me do the second one of these. So roll on the fast forward. So I'll go to the other side. Okay, now that's done. Time to start moving on to the fun bits, or the hard bits. So where are we going to start? We're going to start by putting, there's a foam that goes around the front here. So this is it here. Now it's shaped like a smile, but funny enough, wherever way you do it, it always seems to be different. But there's like one flat end and one curved shape. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half first. And find where the middle is. And I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark where the middle is. It's a little pen mark. I'm going to find the middle of here. So if I get a measuring tape, or in this case a ruler, I'm just going to go, because this is not in the middle, so I'm just going to go in between here. centimeters might be easier. I'm getting pretty much end to end is 14, so 7 would be in the middle. I'm just marking that just so I can. I should have put a bit of tape on it, but it's just so I can get the middle of it. So I'm going to apply this on, flat end of the top. Now, which side does it go? To be honest, I've always really put the foam to the outside. I've always really done that. But to be honest, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, I'll do it the other way around. I don't think it makes a difference. As long as it's on, it's just for when the cover comes over it, that it's either side, so you don't have to cover the vinyl or the leather hitting the edges. That's really it. So let's go spray this on. Now there's not much, when I say there's not much spraying this, there's a lot of spraying but not too much. The less you put on the better. Only because it's easy to get off then if you put less on it. Because at the end of the day, it's the vinyl that's going to do all the hard work. So I keep it just above, so I can actually make sure I can get the top end goes around onto it. A bit more at the top. As I said, the different glues, some of them you have to wait a bit of time, some of them you don't. So just be a bit patient. I don't glue the bottom. I don't push that around. I leave that flat. The reason why is I let the vinyl take that around. All right. So that's that on. All right. So what next is we're going to work on the foam that goes here. Now, there's many different ways you can do this, and I've looked at it, and I have a new way I want to do it, but I'm not going to try with this yet. So I'm going to do it a whole different way. Is the foam I still put on first. However, I want to be able to actually put the seat cover down first before I put the foam edging in, and I'll show you. So. First to go on is our big pad, so we're going to put this on first. Remembering that the smaller end goes to the bottom, it works its way out. But before I put this on, what I'm going to do is I need to take a trim off it because they're oversized. So I'm basically going to sit it in the middle, where it's going to sit, basing it off the edges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my marker again. I'm going to take a notch off the corners. So I'm just marking where it's going to go. Now I'm going to actually have it sit in one side to where it will sit in. I'm going to notch that as well. Does it have to be perfect? No. but it gives me an idea of what I'm taking out. Just to make it sit, sorry. Gives me an idea of what I'm taking out, just to make it sit easier. So I'll zoom out a little bit because it's a little close. Alright, so that's why we need a nice sharp blade. I'm hoping this is a sharp one. You don't have to do this, but I think it sits in way better if it's just not in it. It's less compression at the corners. Again, this is not it has to be done this way. This is just my way of doing it. Blade could be a little sharper. Alright. So I'm going to glue this down. However, before I glue it down, remember this. Don't glue the back. Don't glue from here back. I'm going to show you why later on why I don't glue here, but the rest of you can glue down. Okay. So you have a choice. You don't have to glue it to here. You can just do the edges if you want. That's fine. Because remember, it's all compression based anyway. But I always put a bit on. Says that back section I snipped out, I don't glue. I just let that sit in there of its own free will. So when it's nice having it tilted this way because it naturally folds in, and I can get it to sit down nice and easy. So you notice there may be a bit of space back here, but that's fine because don't worry, the covers have to go in here anyway. And if you do it and you have a little bit of overlap one side to the other, again, don't be too worried about it because the compression will sort that out. Alright, that's on. So, what comes next? Now, on this case, normally it will be, and I said this in the other videos, if you look at the other videos I have for doing the lace seats or even the Spitfires, it's similar. Usually this will go on next, and then your covers go over it. Now, on my other video, I stick this to the cover first, which I'm going to do on this one as well. You have a choice. You can put this on. If you really want to, you can put this on. Then glue your cover in and then fold it over. There's nothing wrong with you doing that. I want to glue it down. The way I want to do is I want to mark this out where it goes. So again, I'm going to take a little notch over it. I wanted to mark where it goes and mark down on this foam. I'm trying so you can see. I want to be able to mark out here where this sits. So now I can see where this one sits. And what I want to do is I want to put a slice across here. So when I put the cover down, I actually want it to go right through. So that means not gluing this on, but actually having to go through this as well to actually pull it down to have it nice and flat to this, and then shove this in. I may even get to the point where I may even blade these off and actually put these in separate, like adding a little bit extra foam to beef them up to shove them in. That is something I will do, and most likely I'll do that with the P6P project. I'll do that along that way, but for this I'm not going to. So we're going to go back to the covers for this. So let's get our cover. Like the last time, fold it inside out. Or should I turn it inside out? I'm going to put these down so I can take the seat off. So I'm gonna use the bench. Not the greatest of tops, but it does. So I did spray glue on this, so what I will do is, well, they're sticky. So I'll rotate it. I'll rotate just because I just sprayed glue and I don't want to get on a sticky surface. It doesn't have to be the greatest clean. It'd be nice if it was. Unfortunately, I might have taken up, but like at the end of the day, you can always wipe it down. These covers are both sides are the same, they're not sided, the bottoms, they're all the same. So now I'm going to do the same as I've done in the other ones. I'm going to place this in. I'm going to pull this one up and over here to get the nose, to get this to sit down. So I will start with this one. I'll make sure to get a good pull in it so it stays down, and I'll work the edges as well. Do you have to do it this way? No, you don't have to. I just find I want to do it because I wanted to get flat. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this first is that I wanted to put the slice in the other one to actually lay it down first. So this is dead flat down to the bottom cushion. And then I wanted to be able to like lift it up and like fold this up and slide this in. That's why I may do it in sections, like do one, one, one. It may work, it may not work. I just want to try something different. But I'll try that on my own accord separately. For now though, we're going to go back to this way of doing it. So. I hope to kill it. This is going to make it all the way around. I just want enough that I can get this part to come up and under. Again, this is where now I'm going to get really sticky hands. I want to get a good pull. I want to try to get the foam to sit. I want the foam to get as close in here as I can. A slight bit off actually. Straight. So if you're going to do any adjustments, do them early before it sets. Once I know this is decent, what I'll do is for the side ones, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to tilt it a small bit because I need to tilt it enough that when it sticks and it falls down, it pulls as you twist. It will pull it down. So. This is where you need some patience. I wish I could fast forward. I have the object to fast forward, but I don't. So I'm regular record. Now I have an option here as well, where I can put the cover over this as well. I can actually put the cover completely onto this, like the vinyl, while it's off, and it gives me more flexibility. I normally do it on the seat. I'm gonna see if I fold it, can I get it to sit better in that way? And that might work out better. That new ways of doing this. Because again, I'm not following the script, I'm following from the fact that this is how I've done it before, and if I go find different ways of doing it. Just find different approach, different methods. Some work, some don't. I could work one day and not the next. Now I haven't taken the notch out of this foam yet, but I'm not worried about it because on the outside and I don't have to worry about it yet. I'm just taking the blade in here so I can still get to it. I should have done it first, but I'm not too worried. Here I'm not too worried if it flips around. So now it's pretty much stuck. I want to see if I can get, I may stick this foam down to here just to make it fit down easier. I'm just wondering if I do it now, will it work out better? So, remember I said about the creases you get in the front? This is why. If you can see down here, you can see this is where the cover sits. Now it's right in the corner, but look at how it edges out. The foam has a bend to it. If you can see, I don't know if you can see that. It has a bend when this goes dead straight. So the cover itself, that's how you end up with this crease here. Show you. If you look at the foam, see the way it was sitting? The foam is curved around, but the actual, this should be straight. This should line up with here. This ideally, this should come into here. So when you put this in, that's how we end up with that crease at the front. So that's why it's trying to get this section down. So I normally push it in and try minimize it by squeezing it in as best I can. That's normally what I do to try minimize that. To minimize the crease in it. So that's where that comes from. Which I'll probably just do now on here. I'll do one side at a time. So I've just got that to line up at the corner of the front there. I need a bit more spray. Sorry, you couldn't see what I was spraying because I zoomed in too close now. Sorry if this is dragging on a bit. But you can see, so what I've done, I'm just going to pull it in and just try to get it to squeeze in here and hold. Again, unfortunately, because it's real time, there's no speeding it up. I don't think it's going to hold. I don't think there's enough pressure to hold it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It was worth a try. Alright, so I'm going to fold this one over. This one here should just flap over this one, but I put it straight down, and the other one I set it right down. Like I could just flap it over here, to be honest. Just hold it here. That will work fine. So let me go take the notches off here first. I'm gonna probably do the same. I'm gonna get it to see if I can sit in. Like I said, the difference between doing it here and on the seat is that with this stuck down to the seat, it gives me more time to hold it, and it stops it from wanting to expand because there's nowhere. It can only go from one side. So for now though, I'm gonna fix the seat. So checking to see how sticky the table is. So I'm going to do the same as the first one. I'm going to lie it out forward. Bring it out forward, and I'm going to see where it sits in comparison with the other one. Alright, so I'm going to take roughly this much out. Again, you don't have to do this. But I find just taking that little notch off the side just makes the squeeze in a little easier. And so I have sticky fingers now, so let's get some brake cleaner onto them. Oh, sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I had a set, but I'm going to cut it short because just in case I overmarked it, I can always take more off, but I can't. Not the easiest way to put it back on again. Alright, this is off, so I can actually glue this whole piece back down now. I want to make sure there's more in the middle than there is on the outsides, because that's where I want the center of it to sit down. So I'm making sure there's more here than on the outsides. I'm not worried about that because again, compression will pull it down. I want to make sure the center of it sticks down because I want it to be flat. Sorry if my head's in the way. Again, if you have a little overlap, don't worry about it. To me, it's more about having it flat on the bottom. Make sure this section here is all flat down. Keeping it down. So when you pull it back, it doesn't lift into the air. That's So once this is glued down, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same as before. We're going to push these in and get the foam on the inside of this seam. Make sure it's in, so that keeps the inside of it raised up. Again, I have this glued down, but again, if it pops up a bit, again, I'm not worried because compression is going to pull around. So now from the edges, this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little, I'm going to put a slit in it. I'm going to put it on both sides because it's easier for me to do it in 3 stages than it is in 1. So I picked the corners because that's really where it sits at. So I'll put a little slit so I have the front section and the 2 sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray. From this point of view, I'm going to spray, falling over. I'll spray along here. I'm going to spray this. I'm going to shove this foam in that sits over this. So let me go do this side. So, on my sticky hands, you can see. So I just basically took the foam and I've gone around and pushed the foam in that's sitting behind that seam. So this is pulling the foam was twisted and getting together. Because again, when you compression and pull around, it's going to pull it down flat anyway. So now I need to clean my hands. It's sticky, and I don't want to be putting all stickiness all over. So what I'm going to do is, I'll fast forward this section because I'm just going to repeat here and here, and then we'll come back to when we fold it over. So let me try and make this video a little shorter for you. I know normally don't edit, but yeah, just make it a little easier. See, brake fluid or brake cleaner, and pretty much the glue's off my hands. All right, let's speed this up, and I'm going to flip around and do both sides. All right, so we have that done. So let me show you. So So we have the foam glued on the inside all the way around. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this around. The fan finally stopped. However, just be mindful that when you go to flip this over, press the foam down. It's important you push it down, otherwise you're going to rip the material. All right, so you have to compress it to let it fold over. And once you get it over, you just have to start massaging it to get it to foam to sit back up again. Sometimes you have to put your hand in underneath and push it up just to get it to go. But it'll go eventually. It will start to slowly go back into shape. So this is a crease, like I said, because of the shape of the foam. There's not much you can do. Well, there isn't much. I personally, like I said, I want to actually start putting more foam in there to eliminate that. But that's how the kits come. So now we have this over. What we're going to do now is actually start to stretch it over. So normally I start from the front and pull down, but I try to get the corners just to try to get this crease out. So you don't want to pull this too much, because the more you pull this, the more flatter it gets. You want this to stay up. But you want to try pull here, just flatten this section down, and it'll take this crease out. Okay, so we start using some clips. 3 go on the front. So just these clips here that came off it. They're not the greatest clips, but you do. And of course the smooth end, there's a smooth end. And there's a gripped end. Obviously the grip end goes on the inside. So I'll put the front one on first, because the next two I have to actually cut the vinyl. So let me actually show you. I'll bring it down to this level. Oops, sorry for the camera work. So when we come down, we have to put a little slit here and a little slit here. You can go either side of this. I normally go to the inside, personally, but you can go to the outside if you want to. It's a little irrelevant. But I always start with the first one. Middle. You may need to reset this after a while if it heats up. You may need to reset it. So, see, this is why I never cut the thing, because I let the vinyl pull it around as it goes along. Just a small little slit. Should be enough to just, as long as you can wrap it around on the thing. I don't know, I wish I could show you a little better what I was doing. What I'll do is I'll get this, ideally I'll flip the seat upside down to do this. But I want to keep an eye on what I'm doing up top as well. Plus, there's probably glue here, so I'm trying not to put it on it so I don't get glue all over the covers. Yes, you can take it off, but I'll try to prevent it, I will. And like I said, this is where if you can always take this one off and reset this now you've pulled it down. So far, so that's the front looking nice. And again, it's always hard. You will have to heat it up to get this out. Like it will have to heat up, unfortunately. Hang on. That's the blade there, I don't want to do that. Okay, back up. Sorry, I keep moving the camera. Alright, so now we're going to work our way back as well. Don't touch this yet, because eventually you will have to put a little slit in it, but if you put it too early, then you'll end up with a rip at the end. You won't see it really as it comes down, but you don't want to put anything in it until you've adjusted everything. Oh, I need some clips. So we have 2 clips that go here. You can put more in if you want. Like it's not gospel that you have to put just 2 on. You can put 3. The more you have, the better, obviously. But I go with 2 because at the back there's a round one that goes here that actually sticks on the pole, on the bar here, because it really stops. You can only really get to 1 here. That's as far as you can go. So, and when I pull it, I give it a little tug back towards this way. Of course, if you're doing this and it's hot out, just be mindful that the vinyl will stretch a lot more. Alright, that's 1, 2. That's them on. So when it comes to the back here, like it says, we do have to blade it. But I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to do the far side. So I want it all stretched out. You see the you see that will eventually come out. When it heats up, that will eventually start to sit down or settle down. But I still think we should get more. There should be more foam in there. I don't think these foam kits are designed great for these seats. Personally, I think they're off. Like I said, this is the way the foam is curved, but yet the covers are dead straight. That doesn't match up. And that's how you end up with that shape. So when I start doing that, I'm going to start filling it in. I'm going to actually put more foam there to fill that void in. Just for the sake of that. So there's no glue under here. You don't have to glue this section. But the other seat, you remember there is the other one, you do have a little tab that sits here, a little okay. So that's on. Now we have to push this through the back. It goes right under this bar. So the more you have the seat open, the easier it is to get through. Let me flip upside down, just let's see. It comes in under the bottom bar. That's the slip it under the metal track as well. These tabs here, the piping should be right to the edge. Now, I can fix these in spot now by gluing them, but the rail that actually makes the seat physically lift off the seat tracks should actually hold these down. So usually I'll adjust it, and I'll adjust it that when I screw that in, it holds this nice and tight. Now, you can put a clip on here. Now, remember I said earlier on, don't glue it. Don't glue the middle. There's a reason why. If you glue back here, then this is all stuck down. All right? So now watch what I can do. Because it's not glued down, I can actually get a pull on it. And it allows me to actually slip underneath. If that was glued, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd be battling against the foam that's stuck down. So that's why I didn't glue the back end of it, because it allows me to put these clips here. These are not brand new clips I'm using, by the way, so you look a bit rusty. But they work. Now, so that's what allows me to get them two in, because I didn't glue the back end of it, because this is compression again. So now we're down to the corners here. So this part isn't easy, because you wanted to sit in behind. You've two choices. You can either blade down or you can blade backwards. Sorry, I'll turn it, you can see. So for this, we can go like around and have a small bit and have it glued on here, or I can go this way and push one section right in here and have the other one coming up here. So if I follow it, if I follow this line, again, this is a choice. I find if I follow this line here, I can then shove this in behind, give this a pull, and this will glue down. And again, the other piece sits down here, so you don't see it anyway. But the whole point is that I wanted to come through and shove in behind. Like I just wanted to physically go in this direction. So just stop before you go all the way, just to make sure where I'm going to. Now I can shove this in here. So I'm making a stick out the back. It's only excess anyway. And this piece then, now I can glue down here. However, like I said, there is a bar that sits down here that you can stick. So that's what I'm going to get. I don't have them here. Hold on. Sorry, I should have brought it out. So these clips here. And then, because most of the time you end up gluing it down here. However, I'm going to put a nice stretch on it. There. And that should hold it in place. And look, you have a nice clean finish. This shouldn't move. This piece does come down. Right, this one comes down, but this is now put in, and like I said, look how clean of a finish that is. So that's how I like to do it. You can glue this to the back. You can just glue it down and finish it off if you want. We'll see if it sticks. Should do. This is always the hardest part to finish off. You end up with a big trail of vinyl. Now again, the other side mightn't be as easy. It all depends. It's always different every time. Sorry, there's a little kink in it there. I wasn't going to push that in. Hopefully this sticks. That's it. So you don't have to glue here either. You can if you want, but you don't have to. You can put another one here. That's still a bar. If you want to, you can put a second one there if you want. But you shouldn't need to. So let's see about doing this far side the same. So again, I'm going to follow this line here. This blade has obviously gotten blunt, so I need to change it. So again, I'm going to push this all the way through. Pops out, it pops out. If it doesn't, I'll just leave it in there. So I have a bit more to go. Again, gives me that nice clean finish back here. Keep that milk. There you go. And the good thing about this is that I can always pop it off and redo it again. But this gives you that finish back in here. Just be mindful. We don't want to spray glue all over it. You can see some got in here just because it was sitting on the chair. So here's what it is. I'll clean that off. I'll get that off. But again, we don't want to have a messy end here as well, because if you do recline the seat back, you don't want to have a big gaping hole. Alright, so apart from a little bit of glue on it, that's pretty much it for this. As I said, unfortunately that has to massage in. Eventually when you sit in it after a while, it will push in and it will wear in. So other than that, there's the bottom end of our seat done. So now we're going to move on to the top section after this. So join me in the next part we go on. So I'm going to clean up, get rid of all the glue off the chair, off the table, and we'll do the top section. See you in a bit.